grab a snack, and find a cozy chair, because it's time for Don't Make Me Use My Mom Voice, where we talk about all things mom life.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy March.
Yes, it's March. Oh my goodness.
We're through the first quarter of the year. Well, we are in the last month of the first quarter of the year.
And we'll be coming up to spring soon.
Yeah,
So
it's kind
that
of scary already.
why is it scary?
I measure the year in quarters.
Oh, okay.
Something about being a financial journalist in my past.
No,
So
that
I'm
makes
like,
sense.
so I'm like, Q1 is here. Let's do a Q1 assessment. What have we accomplished in Q1? Oops, nothing. So, and we have just wait. We have today's the 5th, so we have 24 days of Q1 to accomplish whatever we had planned for Q1 before we joined.
Did
So
you
I,
do you,
I,
do you have a lot that you want to accomplish?
yeah, I thought, yeah, there's a lot of things. My children's book that I postponed from last year. I thought that maybe I would have like an illustrator going by now. Just so many small things that you think in the beginning of the year, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then you realize Q1 is here. You don't have a plan for Q2. Before you know it, Q3 is here, and that's eaten up by the summer, and then Q4 is eaten up by Christmas. So
Yeah, that's true. You'll get
yeah,
it. You'll get it all figured out.
I
It's fine.
will. Also, if I don't accomplish everything, that's fine. Life's short as long as I'm happy.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that exact same thing, as long as you're happy,
I am for the most part.
for the most part. There's a smile on your face, but inside you're like, oh my God, freaking out.
Yeah, I hate thinking about time. It's like once you reach, you remember when we were kids and Christmas used to take so long to come,
Mhm.
and now it's almost here already. Like when you're an adult, it comes too soon.
Remember when you were kids and you thought like being 40 was so old?
Yeah, where all the movies of parents who are overwhelmed had like 40-year-old people, and when I look back at those movies, I'm like, no, people in the 40-year-olds did not look like that. Those people look like what you look like in your 60s.
Well, people in their 40s, like back in the 80s, how they were portrayed is a lot different than how 40 is now, I think.
Yeah, they made them look frumpy and frazzled and I don't know, frightened.
Yes. Well, they looked, yeah, just old. Like they didn't dress nice. And being 40 now is totally different.
It is. And people are proud of it too. Do you talk about being in 40 or being
Oh,
40?
yeah,
I've
I
seen
don't
you.
care. I'm
Yeah.
41. It's fine.
Yeah.
I feel good about it.
I've still found it weird a bit to talk about being 40 in certain circles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Among my Ugandan friends and family, and
Hmm.
um, I talk about 40, the fourth floor and everything. Among my US friends or acquaintances, I feel a little shy about that. And I think it's partly because people in the US are overly cautious about age. And now I find like, oh, if I tell them I'm 40, they're going to think like, oh, you're too old or you're not accomplished enough, which is so weird. Even when I turned 40, I posted on my Instagram where I have most of my Ugandan friends and I put this thing with my 40s and everything. And then, no, the Instagram one has people from everywhere and you cannot limit who sees. So I posted one that just said, oh, happy birthday to me. And then the one on Facebook, I limited who can see. And I was like, here's 40 and everything. And it was only my Ugandan friends and then people who I didn't mind, who already knew I was
Right.
turning 40. But like I made it limited from like a majority of Americans. It's weird, living too old.
So is age like, is it seen differently in Uganda then? Like, how come there's that difference?
Like we just don't care. We just don't spend a lot of time thinking about anti-aging or we don't. It's a much more relaxed society. We don't so age and weight, those are
Hmm.
things we don't worry about too much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, being overweight means you're eating well, you're eating healthy, your husband's taking good care of you.
Hmm.
like when I run into my a Ugandan friend, maybe I haven't seen in 5 years, they will stop me on the street like, Elvina, you're fattened. Turn around, let me see your buttock. They will talk about your weight very easily and very comfortably. And I recognize that you cannot talk like that to an American. That would be very offensive. But back home, it's totally normal.
It's like it's celebrated almost.
Yeah, it's celebrated, but also we also don't care. Like to tell somebody you're fattened, not even like you've gained weight, but you're fattened. That's like, are you a cow?
So that's like if you run into someone here, like, oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight.
Yeah, that's what you. Yeah. So yeah, enough about me. How are you doing?
Well, I'm good. It's been a quiet couple weeks. Just kind of chilling, just hanging out, working on my embroideries and reading, and just a lot of TV watching. I think like nothing crazy.
You've been doing a lot of embroidery and it looks really good.
Well, like I keep saying, I'll be bored of it in a few months. So I'm getting it all in now.
But by the time you get bored, you've already accomplished it. That's the thing about you, is that you finish the things you start.
I guess I wish I had the motivation to carry on. Like with my sewing, I want to like be able to just sit down, do a dress, and now that I can embroider, I want to like embroider something on it, like do the top part of a dress and do like a big embroidery or something, and then put it all together. But I think at this point, like when I first got the sewing machine, the thought of doing that would be like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a fun weekend project. And now the thought of doing that is like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. I don't even have the motivation to cut out the pieces.
Yeah.
So I have to get back into the mindset of wanting to create and make something. But then the couch is always staring at me saying, hey, Sarah, I'm so comfy. The TV's right in front of me.
You do so many things though. You're very creative at many things. I admire you. I admire you on your life because one, you know how to relax, which I don't. It's admirable, super admirable. But you can do anything. That's why I said, if you wanted to illustrate my books, if you told me, Elvina, I'm gonna take a week to learn how to illustrate a book, and then I'll come back and illustrate your book. I'll be like, please, here's a manuscript. I trust you.
But you, on the other hand, like if you want to go away, you just do it. Like you live your life. Like you set your sights on other things. Like you want like your success and your career, and like even with your kids, like you motivate them and you want to inspire them. Like you're kind of like, I feel like we're the same but different in our things.
I think you're seeing a rosier version of me. I think
you're seeing a rosier version. It's just because I'm wearing a pink shirt.
It's rosy. I think it's more that when I'm spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
And so in those moments of spontaneity, I will be like, David, we're going here. So the other day I'm like, we're going somewhere. And I pulled up my computer and looked like, oh my God, everywhere is so expensive, but the Scandinavian countries are cheaper right now. So it's like, are we going to Denmark? Are we going to Sweden? So like, okay, we have 2 friends in Sweden. We're going to Stockholm. So I'm like, I'm booking right now. You'll pay me later.
Is that a true story? Are you going to Stockholm?
Yeah. So
oh my God, that's so fun.
So I said, David, I booked for this week. We're going to Stockholm. Ask for the days off. I'm asking for those days off. So I booked before even asking for the days off.
But see, that's where like we're kind of similar in that mindset. Whereas you will be spontaneous and book travel. I'm spontaneous and be like, I'm going to learn embroidery. So we're kind of the same, but our spontaneities are different.
Yeah. I feel like maybe I'm always trying to run away from myself. And so the part of running away is traveling. And then I realized we can't stay there. You got to come back home.
Yeah. And I like projects because I like to, and I was saying this to Kevin the other day, I like keeping my hands busy. And he's like, oh, do you have an addiction that I'm not aware of? Like a drug addict? I'm like, no, I think because if I'm not keeping myself busy, I get in my mind about things and I overthink other things. Whereas if I'm busy concentrating on something else, like reading or embroidery or sewing or whatever, I'm focused on that. I'm not focused on like, what's going to happen tomorrow? Or did I say something weird in an email? Or I don't spiral.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good coping mechanism.
I think that's why I do the things I do.
That or self-destructing. So
maybe, I don't know.
And then
I'm going to implode.
And you have a cute. Do you have those cups in different colors?
No, this it's the Care Bear mug that I had, I think, last time.
Why do I remember it being pink?
Well, there was pink on it. Maybe it was just turned to a different
I don't know.
spot.
Maybe I'm just mixing my pastels.
Maybe.
So yeah, you had a fun weekend.
Yes, well, last weekend, some friends and I went to a spa in Niagara on the Lake, and we went for massages, and it was lovely. And we went in the morning because that was the only time they had appointments free. So we went up for like we were gonna have some breakfast, the one friend and I, and it wasn't like a super cheap place, but they had like on the menu they had pancakes for $18. So I was like, okay, Diane, like, how about would you want to split these pancakes with me? It says pancakes. So there's probably at least two. So we can split it because we were already paying a fortune for the massage. So we didn't want to like spend a fortune on food. So she's like, okay, that's fine. So we went up to the restaurant and sat down, and our waitress was like, oh, are you here for the buffet? And we were like, buffet? What is this buffet? We didn't know that that was an option. We're like, how much is this buffet? And she's like, well, it's $20. And we're like, yes, sign me up for the buffet because that is so much worth for $20.
Yeah.
So I definitely ate more than $20 worth of food. But do you enjoy buffets?
I first let me ask, what else was there? Just
So it was a
brunch?
breakfast buffet. So there was
Okay.
like French toast, bacon, sausage, eggs. There was like little egg Florentines, which I guess is kind of like an eggs Benedict, but not really. I don't know, fruit, cereal, like breakfast basic kind of stuff, but it was really good.
Yeah. No, I do. I do enjoy buffets. First, it used to be a funny thing that I would do because I thought I associated with old people. And in when I was in Arizona, there was a place called Old Country Buffet, and they'd have like 50% off nights for people 50 and above. And so they would be like all seniors and then me. And I would just and I was pregnant with Caleb. And when I was pregnant with Caleb, I ate a lot. So I'd go to the Old Country Buffet and just stuff myself. And then when I moved to Florida, I met a guy who was supposed to date, but he was so fucking racist that. But he was funny, so we're like, okay, we can be friends. He was the most racist man I ever met. I don't know why I was friends with him, but he was funny, and we got along. And I would tolerate his racist jokes, and we would joke about going to. I don't know if you have Golden Corral. Do you
No.
know Golden Corral is like the McDonald's of buffets.
Oh, I want to go to one of these.
It's so like it's a caricature of what a buffet is, but it has everything. And so me and this racist guy, that was our thing. We would go to Golden Corral.
Oh my gosh.
But now DC has really good buffets for lunch during lunch hour.
Okay.
And so I have you ever had fried plantains? Oh girl.
No, I
We need
haven't.
to fix this. We need to fix this. We need to fix this. Like
Okay.
I guess because DC is international, you find that even like a lot of the places, even though they're serving mainstream, they're serving downtown, and people who work downtown, right?
Hmm.
They'll still have some foods that are inspired by international cuisines. Like the fried plantains are very much a Caribbean and West African thing. And
Hmm.
so I specifically look for buffets that have the fried plantains. And
Oh.
I'll go into Google and like buffet fried plantains. And so I don't go downtown as much these days, but whenever I do, I'm like, I'm downtown. Let me find a buffet that has its fried plantains. So I'll get everything and then I'll get the fried plantains. We gotta get you it's some deep fried plantains.
Okay, I'm gonna Google right now if there's fried plantains in Niagara.
You have to
So
find fried plantains in Niagara.
I'm gonna Google it. Do you think buffets are worth it? Like, would you take the family to a buffet, or is it too expensive so you just go by yourself?
I've actually never taken them, which actually now that I think Caleb would enjoy it because he likes to pig out.
Okay.
And then Dave would enjoy it too because Dave loves food. There's a whole joke about Dave being the person who you give all your leftovers in the office because he'll eat it all. We've never gone to a place with a buffet actually.
No.
Now that's something to try. There is a high-end Brazilian steak place that does like buffet style. I think it's called Fogo de Chao. You may even have it in Canada. But if you want like
I don't know.
high-end buffet where you pay $50 and then you eat all the steak you can eat, but like fancy Brazilian Brazilian food. We might do that someday. I want to do it just once. Did you find a
So
fried plantain place?
this one might have it. Doesn't say that they're fried, but it says plantain with our very own homemade cilantro lime sauce. It doesn't say if they're fried.
I think that's a different type. I think that's what did you say? What kind of restaurant is it? Is it a Dominican restaurant?
It's Tropical Fiesta. It
Okay.
doesn't say.
If it just says plantains, it might be what they call mofongo, which is like crushed, and I don't think you would like it. I don't like it anyway. But all right, we're gonna find a way to get you some fried plantains.
I will look, and if I find something, I'll message
If
you.
you,
There was a
yeah,
few places in Niagara Falls, New York, that said that they had them.
yeah. Oh, if you find like a Nigerian restaurant or a Caribbean restaurant, they or a Cuban restaurant. Cubans have that kind of food as well.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's I there was a story that was going around that the bus driver in London stopped in the middle of the commute to run into a restaurant to buy fried plantains, and everybody was confused. But some of us were like, yeah, we understand. Like, I'd stop the bus to go get rush and get my fried plantains and come back.
So is it different than plantain chips? Like, that's different?
Oh yeah, it's very different. So
okay, because I've had those. I've had plantain chips and I love them.
Yeah, those are good, but it's different. So this is like a ripe plantain. It's sweet, and then they deep fry it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you can just eat it that way, or you can dip it in things, but it's just if you don't like sweet things, this might not be your thing.
I like sweet things.
Okay.
I like all the things.
So if you find, I don't know if maybe because there's not much of a diaspora where you live, so you might have to if you might have it more in Toronto than in Niagara.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll look for it next time I'm in Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to look into that.
Yeah. So yeah, I would I've not taken the boys, but I think I should now that they're bigger and they can have their own choices. I'm gonna find one like a breakfast.
Take them to a buffet. Kevin doesn't think buffets are worth it.
I mean, they count on you not eating more than you would have eaten if they gave you a plate. Mm-hmm. There's some people who eat a lot, there's some people who eat little. So I guess it balances out. Have you taken the boys?
No, I've never taken them to a buffet. But there's not really a lot of buffets around. Like there's the Mandarin, which is like a Chinese restaurant, and they have a buffet. But I think it's like I don't remember how much it is, but
yeah.
But it's not
super cheap. Only Chinese food?
I think they have a couple of other things. Like sometimes they've got like pizza and stuff like that, but it's mostly Chinese food. But I love it. Like I love a buffet, especially like a brunch buffet. There's one that sometimes I go to for breakfast in Toronto. Like if I meet up with my sister, they have like a Sunday brunch buffet, and they have pasta and they have pancakes and eggs and they have all the things, and it's amazing, and I love it.
Do you have Whole Foods near you?
Whole Foods, not near. We have them in Canada, but there's not one near me.
Yeah, because Whole Foods has a good buffet as well for breakfast and lunch, and they do the fried plantains too. And I don't know if the fried plantains, again, it just might be that they do them in DC because DC has such an international, it has such a wide diaspora of people. So even the Whole Foods buffets have the fried plantains. Why do you not have fried plantains anyway?
We might. I just
to be fair, I never saw them in Arizona.
Yeah.
But in DC, it's everywhere. Most buffets will have them. But that's probably because half of the people who are gonna go into your buffet are from one.
I'm gonna have to look into it. I'm sure that there's somewhere that I can find that will have them, and then I will try them.
We need to get you a good Nigerian family to visit so you can have good jollof rice with fried plantains. My friend's wedding last year, they had like that regular, he's Nigerian, he's marrying, his wife is part Mexican, part American white. And so they had the regular wedding. He still dressed up in his traditional Nigerian garb for the first wedding, but we went to the arboretum. It was outdoors, and then we went into a nice place and ate like good food. There was pasta. There was, it was good food. And then the next day there was the traditional wedding. So it was buffet style.
Yeah.
Nigerian food.
Ooh.
Oh, it was so good. And then there was so many leftovers. So he brought me like leftovers the next, like a couple of days later. It's like, yeah, there's so much food left over. So I had like fried plantains for days and the jollof rice, which is like the yellowish rice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all, the spices that make it yellow. And it was the best wedding food I've ever had.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I just get regular, well, because when I do weddings, I'm the photographer, right? So I just get like chicken, beef, just regular wedding food.
Because you don't really get to sit down much, right? You still have to be on your feet doing all the photography and stuff.
I'll sit because when everyone's eating, there's nothing happening. So I'll sit and eat, and then like when people start doing speeches, then I have to kind of get up and down all the time to take pictures of, which I have to say, if anybody's about to get married, having your photographer take pictures of people having speeches is just dumb. Like maybe like
just for memory.
I like if you want someone to video it, I think that's better than people, because there might be like one or two that look okay, but then when people are talking, they're making so many different expressions and faces, and there might be the odd one that turns out, but then some of them are like their faces are all twisted and contorted.
I like those candids the most because being like down memory lane, those are the ones you laugh at. I don't know.
Like I said, like some of them turn out okay. There might be like one or two where the person, like you catch them in a smile, or they're like looking over at the couple, and sometimes I'll take a picture of the couple looking at them, like laughing and stuff like that. But there's only so many in that like 5-minute speech that it's like, oh my God.
Imagine for you, the photographer, it's hard to sort through. So it's just like easier.
It is like, because I have to, and because like I go through photos and I just pick what I feel are the best ones. Like it would take too much time for me to have the couple come back and go through them. And so I just go through them. So I'll pick the ones that people don't look ridiculous in. But
I feel like if I were a wedding photographer, I'd be like, I'll give you a package of 20 of my best shots, and then I'll dump you the rest of the files. You can do what you want with them. Pick the ones that you want, dump the ones that you want, because I just don't have time to sort through all.
But I don't want to do that, because if they post like a not good picture, then that reflects on me, right?
That's true. That's good point. Yeah, that's
so I have to post the rest, or I have to fix the rest and just give them the best ones. But yeah, weddings, crazy.
Yeah, I want to get back into photography.
Do it while you're in Sweden. I'm sure I can't wait to see your Swedish pictures. Like I'm
looking forward to that.
I'm so jealous of you.
And now I was looking though, so before I travel anywhere, I look at Instagram, look at most Instagram, I work sports, and then I think about like, okay, what colors am I going to wear for this? Like Portugal was nice because it was a very colorful town and it was easy to find like what I'm looking in Stockholm, and well, I'm not going to the Arctic because I don't have we're going with the boys this time. Pray for us.
Oh, you're taking the kids?
We're taking the kids. We're
tired of
childcare. We're like, F it, we're taking the boys.
When was the last time you traveled with them somewhere?
The last time we traveled with Caleb in 2016 to Montreal.
Oh, okay. So you haven't done both yet.
No, we haven't. Thank you for reminding me. I need to check their passport. They're not expired. But no, we haven't. We haven't gone with Theo. Hasn't been in a plane since he was like 18 months.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't remember.
Whenever we are going to, after that last plane ride, it was so delayed. We end up sitting in the airport for 5 hours, and I'm like, I am not flying anymore to New York or to your. Well, take the train. I'm not going. So we've been taking the train only. He's a train kid. He knows the train.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going with them. I'm looking online. I'm looking the most Instagrammable things. There's one old town which I'm like, okay, that's the old town. We gotta go there. It's cute, but I'm not really getting a good sense of what colors should I wear. What are my pictures gonna look like? Oh, damn it, Sweden, come through, come through.
Are you gonna go to an IKEA?
Oh my God, such a cliche thing to do. Yes, I am, and I'm gonna
Oh
get
my God,
balls.
you're going to an IKEA in Sweden.
I do all the cliche stuff that people are like, oh, don't do the
I'm
cliche.
I'm way too
tourist stuff.
excited about that.
I know people say like, oh, just don't do the cliche stuff. I am like, I'm going to. That's
Yeah.
part of the experience for me. Do the cliche stuff, then go off the beaten path and go like eat traditionally cooked food and find things that other people don't do. So I'm looking forward to that.
Are you going to have Swedish meatballs?
That's part of the process. I was looking online and there's places that have like the best meatballs, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah, we decided like we every year we have to ask somebody, whether it's my in-laws to watch the kids, and I just told Dave I'm tired of baking people,
Yeah.
We're taking the boys, so his mom I think is gonna be mad at us, but then I'm like, but you didn't offer.
But why would they be like, you think that they would be excited that the boys get to experience? I mean, I'll come with you.
I know. No, I think mad that we didn't ask them, but I think we said, oh, we're going to go with the boys. It's like, you could bring the kids here and you guys go. I'm like, that's 5 hours.
Yeah.
That's half of our flight. 5 hours to take the kids there, then try to get, like, no, I'll just go with the boys. Plus, I want them to see the wild. I think Theo is now at a point where he can, he can experience things. So I will take them. Yeah. But I also just was like, you know what? I'm tired of begging people for childcare. Let me just take my boys with me.
So do you have like, where are you really like, where are you going in Sweden? Do you have it kind of planned out? Or are you going to do that closer to when you go?
No, spontaneity. I'm going to do it closer to when I go. But we're going to Stockholm, the city.
Yeah.
And then one of Dave's childhood friends lives in Stockholm. And then there's a lady who stayed with us last year. I don't know if I mentioned. And yeah, so she moved to Sweden. That's where her late husband was from. So she's with his family. So we have like a couple, which is why I was like, okay, if I'm going with the kids, then let me go to a place where we can see people. And if we wanted somebody to like watch the kids for like a couple hours, so we can go and have like a dinner.
Right.
So that was a nice option. But yeah, so we'll keep it within Stockholm. It's made of many islands. So there's still like different things to see on each of the different islands. And I found out that Sweden gets tsunamis. I'm like, do not do that while we're there.
When are you going?
April. So next month.
Okay. So what's the weather like there in April? Is it nice or?
I think it was like 50s. So still colder, but not as like, we don't need heavy jackets.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Not ideal for my cute photography, but we can always take off the jacket.
Exactly. You only have to take it off for a moment for the photo.
You need to travel for your 48th birthday. Don't wait till you're 45.
I'll get there. I know.
Send the kids to your dad or to Nick's parents, and I mean to Kevin's parents, and then you and Kevin go.
Oh, I could. Like my dad would easily
take them.
My dad would easily take them.
Get their own money and travel if they want. Like
one day, the dream. I know.
I mean, it's definitely much more doable for two, because there's a low-cost airline called Play Airline, something like that.
Okay.
And it would have been significantly cheaper, like $400 cheaper to fly that. But it's like kind of like Spirit Airlines of international travel, no frills, no nothing. But if you're two adults, so that would have been that I paid more to travel regular airline than travel with that, because I was with kids. And then obviously because we're 4, I had to get a room that can sleep 4. So it has a bed, it has a king bed and then 2 bunks, then a bank bed, so again, that's more money. But I was like, if we're doing this with Dave, it would have been $1,000.
So when you're traveling with the kids, and I know this is like the first time you've done it in like a long time, would you get like a hotel, or is it like an Airbnb, or are you staying with these friends that you know over there? Is it a little bit of everything?
No, I've got a hotel. I don't do Airbnb because I want somebody to take care of me. And Airbnb requires cleaning, and then the cost. A lot of times people get hit with cleaning costs after they've left. That's the catch. So no, I I look for family friendly hotels, and There are some that will have like the bed, and then they'll have like a pull-out couch.
Mhm.
And then I found one that has the bed, and then it has a bank bed
Okay.
in there. So we'll all fit in the same room. The other alternative I was looking for was get
Mhm.
2 rooms, and then Dave sleeps with Theo in one room, I sleep with Caleb in the other room. But
Okay.
then I was like, that's cost a lot more because now you have to pay for 2 rooms. So I found they had a lot of options, for a lot of family friendly options. So that works out perfectly.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
And like, do you know the language and stuff like that, or
Nope. Nope.
no?
But I think a lot of people in European countries speak English.
Do they?
But I
Yeah.
have I have like Duolingo. I'm gonna start learning a few things of like, can I get that coffee? How do I get here? Get a few words.
I was watching 90 Day Fiance as I do the other last week. And I said to Kevin, like, you think I would know more Spanish at this point than I,
Because there's a
because
lot of, yeah.
there's a lot of Spanish, like people are from Colombia or Mexico or like somewhere where there's always like that, because they'll be speaking Spanish and they'll have the subtitles at the bottom. So you think I would like pick up, all I know is Ti amo. That's all
Yeah.
I've picked up.
I love you. David has downloaded the Duolingo app, and he's been learning. He's been taking like, even if it's 5 minutes a day,
Mhm.
to just learn a few Spanish phrases. People have a lot of good things to say about. I downloaded it. I haven't looked at it, but a lot of people who have used Duolingo say it's really good.
I
A good
downloaded
easy.
it at the beginning of COVID, at the beginning of the pandemic, when Lucas, I think he was in grade 4 at the time, and he was just starting French because like they learn French at school here. So he was just starting French and he got like to March. So I downloaded the Duolingo so that he could still kind of keep up with it. But he was in grade 4. So I mean, his attention
Yeah,
span was minimal.
yeah. I think I'll use it before that trip.
Yeah. Well, we've got 6 minutes.
Oh,
I know. The producer is telling us to wrap up. Producer Zoom.
they're like
I know.
from the
They're giving us
background.
the wrap up motion. So before we have to go, do you have a parenting win from this week or a
I do
fail
have
or
a
both?
parenting win. Do have a parenting win. Dressed up my boy yesterday to go get him. Go for. I just realized the night before that he had an interview for his high school. He's doing like some of the more competitive high schools here
Oh,
require
okay, good for
an
him.
interview. Yeah, and then the night before I looked and it says dress for the part. It's an interview, like dress up. And
Oh,
I was like, oh, it's 8 o'clock on a Friday, and I don't know what to dress him up in. So I said, David, I'm gonna look into your suits. Some of them might fit Caleb. And thankfully, he had like a couple of suits that fitted
oh,
him.
that's
So
awesome. So he got all dressed up and
yeah, so
prepared
he
and
got dressed up in a suit. I took him. We prepared him for it. So I took him. He felt good about it. Um, yeah, so that was a nice win. And then I took him to have like burgers and a shake after. It was a nice day.
oh, awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so exciting and nerve-wracking.
Yeah, he seemed more confident than I was. He always has like a sense of confidence that I'm like, where do you get that from?
Aw. So
But good.
I taught Lucas how to hand sew. So he came to me the one night and he's like, I want to make a pillow, just like a small throw pillow. So he made that and he was so proud of it. So I
That's
showed him
nice.
and I stayed out of it. I told him I would help him with a few things like some knots and stuff like that. I stayed out of it. I didn't get all me about it. And he made himself a little throw pillow. So that was my win. And then my parenting fail. Nick didn't know who Beyonce was yesterday, and I felt like a failure as a parent.
Oh, yeah. God, you should go to confession and repent.
I know. I need to hand in my parenting license.
No, 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 no. Yeah, so was he watching and then asked, or how did he?
So, okay, I'll go through it real quick because we have 4 minutes. So we were watching RuPaul's Drag Race, as we do, and they had a Beyonce challenge. So everyone had to dress up as like a different iconic Beyonce outfit or whatever. So they were going through the stuff, and then Nick turned to me and he's like, "Who's Beyonce?" And I'm like, "Excuse me."
This is
And like,
offensive.
well, and like, I know he doesn't need to know who all the pop
Yeah.
culture people are, but Beyonce is just one of those people who's like, I literally say to the boys at least once a week when I give them some kind of a task, can you handle this, Beyonce? Like, so yeah, that was my parenting fail. But
What was my parenting fail? I think my parenting fails are always consistent with the kind of lunches I throw for my kids in the morning for lunch.
oh, I don't judge lunches. It's fine.
I just threw them like pasta and chicken nuggets on the side, but like
That's,
really terribly made pasta.
as long as there's food, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're up to 3 minutes, so we should probably wrap it up.
Yep.
So, yeah, if the kids are driving you nuts, just threaten them with, "Don't make me use my mom voice." Bye.
Bye.
You can follow Don't Make Me Use My Mom Voice on Facebook and Instagram at Don't Make Me Use My Mom Voice, or you can write to us at momvoicepod@gmail.com. We hope you enjoyed the episode. See you next time.